an intriguing one to me is Motherwell's Tawanda Maswanhise. Maswanhise, is he one that you guys think could do a job at Celtic?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm undecided. I've got to be honest, because how many times have we seen players? Let's just use Motherwell as an example. From Motherwell, one season wonders. You look at perhaps it's unfair to call Louis Moulton a one season wonder, but he's not the type of player that would, he scored a barrel load of goals for Motherwell, but he was never going to be the type of player that could make the step up and play for Celtic or Rangers. Michael Higdon. There's a few other players that spring to mind as well. So I think Maswanhise. Maswanhise is obviously he's had a phenomenal season. He's probably been one of the standout players in the Premiership. But can he do it for a sustained period of time over two, three seasons, plus make the step up for Celtic? I think that's the biggest question. And then again, if he's going to be a second striker, although he's not really a striker, he mainly plays out wide, doesn't he? But if he's going to be a second attacking option that comes in, again, it's a lot of pressure to put on his shoulders, bringing in a guy from Motherwell. But I do think he's a talented player. My question would be whether, one, he'd be able to make that immediate step up and handle the expectations of playing for Celtic, and two, whether he'd be able to do it for a sustained period of time. But, I think you could probably get him for around £2.5 million, which is well within Celtic's budget. So, yeah, my honest opinion is I'm not so sure.
I think, listen, I agree with Ryan. I think he's having a good season. Wasn't that great last season, and a really good season this season. It could be a hot streak, a good purple patch that might not be sustainable. I think he's got growth on him. He's 23 years old. I think if Celtic can get him for £2.5 million, I think it's a no-brainer, because he can play up front or right, and that's what Celtic need right now. And if it's on their own doorstep, they can go and get it. If it's £2.5 million, it's a very low risk kind of signing that can do a job in two positions for Celtic, two problem positions. What I would suspect though is that if you're Motherwell, you'd be thinking, like, as soon as that phone call comes, you go like, oh, here we go. The price would be going through the roof, because they know that Celtic are in a slight state of kind of desperation at this point in time, under heavy pressure. So if you're Motherwell, likewise if you're Hibs, we talk about Kieran Bowie, you're going to be thinking, you know what, there's going to be the panic tax getting put in this for you guys, because we know that you're desperate. So the value all of a sudden is going to go from £2 to £4 million.
And then as well, Mick, and I don't mean to single him out, but when you watch Balikwisha the other night, kind of underwhelm again against Auchinleck, Motherwell would look at that and go, well, listen, you paid £5 million for him.
Yeah,
so there's the panic tax getting applied right away as well. That guy ended up paying £5 million for chasing them for so long and had to get players in the door. Likewise, I think Sebastian Tinecki, who was £1.1 million in February, went for £5 million in August to Celtic. And you think, right? I think he's got promise. I think Tinecki's been written off a little bit too prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think £5 million was a bit pricey for him at his stage in his career. Balikwisha looks like £5 million and been the drain, to be perfectly honest. So again, but the panic tax was applied. Celtic were up against it. The window was closing, and they hadn't the boys in the door. So that it's not really a way to operate, really. This window has been an example of how not to operate. But if they can get through it and get 3 or 4 guys in the door to do my job, then fair enough. But it's going to cost them, because everyone now knows that Celtic are kind of desperate. In fact, it's a bad combination, because not only they're desperate and they've got money.
Yeah.
So any club answering the phone is going to be chuckling like, oh, here we go. Do you know what I mean? We've got it's supply and demand. They've got the supply, and Celtic have got a lot of demand.